boys with another banger, and today we're gonna be talking about 5 cornerback tips y'all need to know in Madden 25 Superstar. Things like catching picks, how to SWAT, everything in the book, even how to press people. We're gonna be talking about today. Let's get into it. Now wait, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Fellas, doing those 3 things goes a long way as we're almost at that 20,000 subscriber mark. And make sure you guys turn that notification bell so you guys don't miss a single video. So now we're gonna go ahead and get into it, boys. So we're gonna be talking about 5 cornerback build tips y'all boys need to be using in Madden 25 Superstar. Now, obviously, this is not, specifically only for cornerback builds. If you're a wide receiver build, if you're a running back build, most of this stuff you could do no matter what build you are, obviously. But, once again, this is more geared toward all my cornerbacks out there. It's more defensive tips for y'all boys. A lot of y'all boys ask me, how do you press and things of that nature. Like I said, we're going to be talking about it today. Now, how we're going to be looking at everything, how we're going to be doing everything is in the DB battle mini game. So this is kind of like the best place to kind of like test like your cornerback skills or practice your cornerback skills is this mini game right here. Easily the best one in the game. And we will also have the hand cam on the screen. So yeah, tip number 1, boys, we're gonna be talking about how to catch picks and really how to time your picks. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and get into the mini game right here. So when catching picks in this game, first of all, it's Y or triangle on PlayStation, and that's gonna be essentially how you do catch your picks in this game. So yeah, that's essentially how you want to do it. Now, the biggest thing that like a lot of people don't know is you really have to time your interceptions. So when you are doing these interceptions, make sure you're timing it, and it's basically like as the ball is kind of like getting towards you. So you don't want to press it too early, because if you press it too early, you're not going to get a good animation, or you're getting an out of reach animation. So you have to kind of wait until basically the ball is like literally right near you. Like wait till you're like a yard or 2 away from, catching the pick, and then you obviously will press the button. So you'll see right here, boom, I waited until basically the ball was in the end zone till I pressed the button. Well, for when I pressed the button. So you really want to wait, and you really want to time when you are doing these interceptions in this game, because that's really is going to be like the big difference maker. Whether catch the pick or it goes above your head is how you time it. If you press it too early, I can see like try to show an example right here. If I try to press too early, you can like kind of see how you kind of like get a animation just way too early. You don't want that to happen. You want the animation to come kind of like as the ball is like right next to you. So that's essentially how you want to do when you're catching your picks in this game. What you do want to do when you're catching picks is baiting. So when you are baiting in this game, I've talked about this in college football, same way within Madden. When you're baiting in this game, essentially you are just starting somewhere else, and then you're gonna finish obviously by catching a pick. So let's say you're in man coverage and someone runs a streak route. You want to be like kind of like 3 yards to the inside of him, and then make it seem like he's open, and then as the ball is thrown, you get back into your leverage, or get back into your phase, and you will catch your pick. So that's essentially how you want to bait in this game. No matter if you're playing Showdown, no matter if you're playing career mode, no matter what it is, that's how you're going to be basically baiting, is by just basically kind of like playing off of somebody or playing out of position, essentially playing out of your zone, and then you get back to your zone and catch the pick. So kind of try to show some examples right here of me trying to like bait here. So see right here, he just runs like a little drag route. I try to bait right there, but I mean, it was the drag route. I'll try to get a good example. Once again, I'm going to be playing like super baity here. So you see, I'm like kind of playing like super far down that I kind of try to get back to it, and boom, that's a perfect example right there where I'm playing super out of position, playing super down low, and I get back in my responsibility, just to basically make him throw the ball. You want to make sure you're baiting someone so that they throw the ball to you. If you're not baiting, they're not going to throw it towards you. So you kind of want to like play like 2 to 3, even you might be able to play 4 yards off of somebody, or like out of position of somebody, and then obviously right there was a little bit too late to the ball. But once again, baiting is gonna be how you get a lot of picks in this game. And once again, doing this also with the with timing your picks will get you a lot of interceptions in this game. Now, one last thing I do want to say is when you are catching your picks, try to make sure you strafe up in your picks. So I'll try to show an example right here. When you are catching your picks, try to press LT, or I want to say it's L2 on PlayStation. So make sure you are like strafing up when you're catching your picks, because this is gonna help out with just you basically get a better animation if you strafe up. So try to show an example right here. See right here, I kind of like strafed up right there and caught the pick. So that's gonna be what you also want to do. Whenever you can do that, you want to make sure to do it, because it's gonna once again help out with catching picks in this game. Now getting to tip number 2, boys, we're gonna be talking about when to intercept and when to SWAT the ball. So a lot of people don't know that swatting in this game has a bigger range than intercepting. intercepting the ball. So let's just say, you know, you felt like you were like super close to the ball, you feel like you could have got a knockout, or let's say you were super far from the ball and you want to try to get a knockout. Swatting is going to be your best bet because you have a larger range and a larger radius to make a play on the ball. Basically intercepting, or you know, trying to go for the pick, it has a smaller range, so there's a higher chance that, you know, you'll miss the ball or be out of reach. So essentially what you want to do is, most of the time, I'm not gonna lie, you want to go for a swat. I'm gonna keep it real, boys. Most of the time you're gonna want to swat the ball because once again, you have a way larger range, you have a way better chance. My rule of thumb is whenever I'm beat or I'm like trailing a little bit, I always want to make sure I'm swatting the ball. And if I'm in like if I'm like in like prime position to catch the pick, then I obviously will catch the pick. If I can square up and, you know, the ball's coming directly towards my chest, then yes, I'm gonna, you know, go for the pick. But if I'm like trailing somebody, or if I'm like a little bit behind or like a couple yards behind, I am going to swat the ball every single time, just because it is the way to do it, and it's the best way to, you know, once again, get a knockout. One last thing I will say with swatting in this game is try to also make sure you are also spamming the button whenever you swat. And I mean, you could even, honestly, you could really even spam when you know, go for an interception too. The reason why I say this is because there's gonna be some times where you'll miss like the ball, or because there's gonna be some times where, you know, you won't necessarily touch the football when, you know, you try to go for a swat or try to go for an interception. Sometimes you're gonna be out of position, but sometimes you'll like kind of like knock it out on their way down, or you know, when they're trying to catch the ball and then come down. Sometimes you also knock out the ball then. That's why I will also say, if you want to, and it's probably the best bet, is for you to also spam the button when you kind of go for the swat. Make sure you're spamming the button, because once again, you could get the knockout like on their way down, and you know, you're basically able to like to hit them on the way down, get the knockout. So I'm getting the tip number 3 for y'all boys. We're gonna be talking about how to press. Yeah, so everybody and their mom been asking me, how do you press in this game? So let's go and talk about it. So when you're pressing in this game, essentially you're using the LB or the L1 button, or I guess LB also on Xbox, L1 or LB, and then you can also use the A button. So the A button is more for like if you're like doing like a zone press, so if you're like you know, in zone and you press somebody and then like, you know, just push them off to like the deep zone or whatever, you just switch them off, then A is like kind of like the way for that. But if you want to do man press and stay locked onto your player, or locked onto the person you're guarding, it's gonna be with LB. So I'm gonna just go ahead and show it real quick. You're gonna see me do it. So boom, snap the ball. I mean, he does some weak ass flat route right there. Nice, but once again, LB/L1 is basically gonna be what you wanna do. So you see right here, I press the dude all the way up the field. Somehow he still catches the ball. But yes, this is gonna be how you do press people into the ground. So yeah, you see right here, I'm just pressing the hell out of him. I mean, good God. Somehow they got time to throw the ball, but that's essentially how you're gonna be pressing people though. That's essentially how you're gonna press it. Make sure you are timing this also. You do not want to do this, you know, too far down the field, or, you know, too early. You kind of want to do it as they kind of like, you know, come in contact with you. So that's kind of when you want to do the press, and that's going to be how you press people into the ground. Now, it's obviously going to depend if you have a cornerback build. So this is going to be more dependent on your ratings. Obviously, if you have a 9 overall cornerback build with 99 press, you're gonna be able to press people a lot better. I'm gonna tell you this right now though, it's a lot harder to press in this game. Last year, it was a lot easier to press. This year, it's a lot harder. So you really have to time it. You have to really have the rating. You see right here, he beats the press. Just because it's a lot more harder in this game, especially if you're on live. If you're facing people who know how to beat the press, it's gonna be very hard to press them. But once again, this is gonna be how you do it. This is the best way to press people in this game. It's gonna be with, you know, the LB or L1 button. That's gonna be the best way to do it. Make sure, once again, you have your press rating, because if you don't have good press, you're not gonna be able to press people really that good. One last thing dealing with the press is that you can kind of like steer like the player in whichever way you want to go. So like when you're pressing people, you can use the left stick to kind of like steer them in like the direction you want them to go. So see right here, I kind of like steer him to the outside, and you know, boom, right there, straps. I kind of like steered him to the outside, coming, or you can really like do it to the inside also. So you can really like steer the press and kind of like, you kind of like steer them whichever way they're going. So if they're doing like an outside stem to the outside, you could steer them to the outside. So see right here, I stem to the outside, try to get around me. And yeah, you could basically do that with your pressing also. So I'm getting the tip number 4, boys. We're gonna be talking about the crossover mechanics. So we talked about earlier the strafing. The strafing is basically where, you know, you're kind of like, you know, basically just backpedaling, and you know, you press LT or L2 to do that. We talked about earlier. That's a really good mechanic, but the crossover mechanic is essentially where you can basically strafe and run at the same time. And this one that was added last year in the game. Basically gonna be LT and RT, both both triggers you're gonna basically use for this. This is gonna basically allow you to play a lot more fluid, you know, lockdown coverage, and you can basically like keep a lot, you know, basically just keep your leverage and your position when playing defense. So you're gonna see right here when I do it, basically holding LT and RT at the same time. So I'm kind of like strafing and running at the same time. Now, obviously you're not gonna be running full speed, so you're not gonna be, you know, as fast as you could be. And essentially this will allow you from over pursuing the ball. So you see right here, I kind of will, you know, cross over right here. So boom, he's gonna throw it, and boom, perfect defense. He didn't really run anything crazy, but this is gonna be how you really like can keep your leverage and your position on the ball. So you see right here, I'm kind of like strafing and running. See how kind of like my body position was on that? That's how you know you're doing the crossover mechanic. So I'm gonna show one more example right here. Try to get to it, and we get the crazy swat right there. But yes, you need to be using this crossover mechanic because once again, it's gonna allow you just to basically, you know, keep leverage and not over pursue. And now for the fifth and final tip for y'all boys, we're talking about the defensive evade. So essentially what this is basically where you can kind of like juke the you know, player who's trying to block you basically. So basically gonna use the right trick, the right stick to kind of like, you know, do this. You can either go to the right or to the left. So basically depending on where they're trying to block you or how they're trying to block you, you know, you go right or left on the right stick. You can essentially juke out the player trying to block you. A lot of people will get blocked up or, you know, will get pancaked because they're trying to just run directly into them. No, you want to use this defensive evade so you actually will get off the block, and you're also able to make the tackle. So I'll try to show an example right here of, you know, of it. So I'll just let him catch the ball here. Hopefully he doesn't run nice. He just ran a streak route nice. But once again, this is gonna be how you do defensive evade is with the right stick. So try to let him catch the ball here. As he just goes to the end zone once again. So let me go and catch my pick. But yes, it's gonna be with the right or left stick, and you'll literally do like a juke animation on defense. So right here, boom, perfect. So you see right here how I kind of like will. He kind of like slipped underneath or like did a juke to kind of like evade the ball carrier or evade the blocker. That's gonna be how you do that mechanic is with the right stick. So you see right here, I do a juke right here. That's gonna be how you do it, and that's what basically allow you to not get pancaked and honestly make the tackle. All right, boys, that's it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe for more bangers just like this one. Until next time, peace.